Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the studio. You're tuning in to episode 2 of module 2 of the Blueprint for Effortless English. I'm your co-host, Ben.
And I'm Anna. Welcome back, everyone. We're officially rolling through module 3, our Conversational Engine phase, and the feedback from our last episode has been absolutely amazing.
It really has. In episode 1, we gave you permission to be a little bit messy. We talked about using lexical filler words like, well, you know, I mean, and like to soften your English and make you sound human instead of like a textbook.
You guys really embraced the messiness. Reading your comments about doing the filler word audit on YouTube was hilarious. Once you hear how many times native speakers actually say the word like, you can never unhear it.
It completely shatters the illusion of perfect grammar. But that's exactly what we want. We want to tear down the robotic habits and build up natural fluency. And today, we're taking those filler words and we're putting them to the ultimate test.
We're tackling a topic that strikes fear into the hearts of almost every English learner on the planet. We're talking about essential social small talk.
Before we dive into the deep end of the shallow conversations, we've got our usual small favor to ask. If you're finding value in this 50-episode journey and you want to support the show, please hit that like button and subscribe to the English Chatcast channel.
Your support is what keeps this channel growing, and it tells the algorithm to share this blueprint with other learners who are struggling with their conversational confidence. So thank you so much for being here.
Now, Anna, when I say the phrase small talk to my students, I usually get a physical reaction. People roll their eyes, they groan, or they just look completely panicked. Why is there so much universal hatred for small talk?
There's a massive misconception about what small talk actually is. Most language learners, and honestly, a lot of native-speaking introverts, view small talk as a complete waste of time. They think it's just a meaningless exchange of obvious facts.
Right. They think, why are we talking about the weather? We both know it's raining. We're both standing outside in the rain. Pointing out that it's wet is entirely redundant and illogical. Let's just talk about something deep and meaningful instead.
But that's the fundamental misunderstanding. Small talk isn't about exchanging factual information. It's not a data transfer. Small talk is a social trust exercise. It's a linguistic ping-pong match designed to establish safety and friendliness.
Think about it from an evolutionary perspective. When you meet a stranger, your brain subconsciously needs to know if this person is a friend or a threat. You can't just walk up to a stranger and ask them about their deepest childhood trauma or their political philosophy. That's highly aggressive.
It's way too intense. You need a safe, neutral buffer zone to test the waters. Small talk is that buffer zone. It allows two people to interact, share a rhythm, and establish a baseline of mutual respect without risking any emotional vulnerability.
When someone says to you, "Wow, it's really pouring out there today," they aren't actually asking for a meteorological report. They're extending a social olive branch. They're saying, "I acknowledge your presence. I am friendly, and I am willing to engage with you."
And your response is simply confirming that you're also friendly and willing to engage. It's a ritual. But for language learners, this ritual is terrifying because traditional English classes never actually teach you the real rules of the game.
Textbooks teach you one very specific, highly robotic script for small talk. The classic script goes exactly like this. "Hello, how are you? I am fine, thank you. And you? I am also fine."
If you use that script in the real world, native speakers will instantly know you're translating from a textbook. Nobody actually speaks like that in a natural setting. It completely kills the conversational momentum. It's a conversational dead end.
So today, we're going to tear up that script. We're going to give you the actual phrases, frameworks, and exit strategies that native speakers use to navigate elevators, office break rooms, and party introductions.
Let's start with the opening serve, the greeting. When an American or a Brit walks past you in the hallway and says, "Hey, how's it going?" or "How are you doing?" they usually aren't stopping to hear your medical history.
This is a huge trap. A student hears, "How are you?" and they think they need to provide a genuine, detailed answer about their current emotional state or their headache. But in Western culture, "How are you?" is often just a synonym for hello.
Exactly. If we're walking past each other in the office, you just keep walking and toss back a simple, positive response. "Good, how are you?" "Pretty good, thanks." "Can't complain." Or my personal favorite, "Surviving."
Surviving is a great one, especially on a Monday morning. It shows a little bit of humor and empathy. But notice that none of those responses are, "I am fine." We rarely use the word fine unless we're actually upset and trying to hide it. If my friend asks how I am and I say, "I'm fine," they're immediately going to ask me what's wrong.
The word fine is a conversational wall. It shuts things down. So stick to good, pretty good, not bad, or all right. And always, always bounce the ball back. That's the golden rule of small talk. You must return the serve.
Small talk dies when one person answers the question but doesn't ask a question in return. If I say, "Hey Anna, how was your weekend?" and Anna just says, "It was good," and then she stops talking.
That creates a terrible, awkward silence. Ben extended the olive branch, and I just snapped it in half and threw it on the ground. I forced him to do all the heavy lifting to keep the conversation alive.
You have to return the serve. "It was good. I just relaxed at home. How about you? Did you get up to anything fun?" You add one tiny detail about yourself, and then you immediately turn the spotlight back onto them.
Let's talk about adding that tiny detail, because that's the secret to moving past the generic greetings and actually sparking a real conversation. We call this giving them a hook.
A hook is a small piece of information that the other person can grab onto to ask a follow-up question. If someone asks how your weekend was, don't just say, "Good," give them a hook.
You could say, "Pretty good. I finally watched that new movie everyone's talking about." Or, "Not bad. I mostly just caught up on some sleep and read a book."
Now the other person has something to work with. They can say, "Oh, which movie did you watch?" Or, "What book are you reading right now?" You've provided the fuel to keep the engine running smoothly.
But what if you're the one who has to initiate the conversation? What if you're stuck in an elevator with a coworker, or you're waiting for a meeting to start, and the silence is becoming unbearable? How do you find a topic?
This is where we introduce one of the most reliable frameworks in social psychology. It's an acronym called F.O.R.D. F-O-R-D. Family, occupation, recreation, dreams.
These are the 4 safest, most universally accepted topics for small talk. Let's break them down, starting with F for family. Now, you have to be careful here. You don't want to pry into deeply personal issues. Keep it light and surface level.
Right. If you know the person has kids, asking about them is an absolute goldmine. People love talking about their kids. You can just ask, "How are the kids doing?" Or, "Are the kids excited for the summer holidays?"
If they have a dog or a cat, that's even better. People will talk for 30 minutes about their pets. How's the new puppy settling in? It's safe, it's positive, and it shows you remember details about their life.
The O in F.O.R.D. stands for occupation. This is the classic, "What do you do for a living?" It's incredibly common in American culture to define yourself by your job, so it's a very standard opening question at a networking event or a party.
But we can do better than just asking, "What do you do?" That can feel a bit like an interrogation. You can ask things like, "How's the new project coming along?" Or, "Are you guys busy over in the marketing department right now?"
If you're talking to someone outside of your company, you can ask,
What's the most exciting part of your job right now? Or, how did you originally get into that industry? Those questions require more than a one-word answer, which takes the pressure off you to keep coming up with new topics.
Moving on to the R, recreation. This is usually the easiest and most fun category. What do people do when they aren't working? What are their hobbies?
The ultimate recreation question is simply, do you have any fun plans for the weekend? You can ask this on a Thursday or a Friday, and it almost always guarantees a good conversation.
And if it's Monday or Tuesday, you just flip it. Did you get up to anything fun over the weekend? It's foolproof.
You can also ask about sports, movies, or television shows. Have you seen any good shows on Netflix lately? That's a brilliant hook. It invites them to share their tastes, and if you've seen the same show, you instantly have 10 minutes of easy conversation.
If you're out here in California, asking about someone's weekend almost always leads to a conversation about the beach or a road trip. The weather dictates the recreation.
Exactly. Just like back in Colorado, if you ask someone about their weekend in January, you're almost guaranteed to end up talking about skiing or digging your car out of the snow. The local environment provides built-in small talk.
And that brings us to the D in the F.O.R.D framework, dreams. Now, this doesn't mean asking them about their literal sleep dreams or their deepest subconscious desires.
Please do not ask your coworker to interpret the weird dream you had about a giant spider. That is the opposite of safe small talk.
In this context, dreams refers to future plans, travel, or lighthearted aspirations. Do you have any vacations planned for this year? That's a fantastic small talk question.
Everyone loves talking about their upcoming vacation. If they say they're going to Italy, you're set. You can ask where in Italy, what food they're excited to try. If they've been there before, the conversation just drives itself.
So, family, occupation, recreation, dreams. If your mind goes completely blank, just mentally scan through the letters of F.O.R.D, and you'll easily find a lifeline to throw into the silence.
But what about the absolute baseline, the Universal Equalizer? If you don't know the person at all, you don't know if they have a family, you don't know what their job is, and you can't ask about their dreams yet, what do?
You look up at the sky. You talk about the weather. It sounds like a cliché, but discussing the weather is the ultimate safe zone. It's a shared reality that you both occupy in that exact moment.
It really is. You're standing at the bus stop, it's freezing cold. You turn to the person next to you and say, "Can you believe this wind? It's brutal today." You aren't asking for scientific data. You're creating camaraderie. You're bonding over a shared struggle.
And notice how Ben phrased that. He didn't say, "The weather is cold." He asked a rhetorical question. Can you believe this wind? Rhetorical questions are incredible tools for small talk. They don't require a factual answer. They just invite agreement.
The other person just has to nod, shiver a bit, and say, "I know, I can't wait for spring." Boom, you've established social harmony. You played the ping-pong match successfully.
The environment around you is always full of small talk prompts. If you're at a conference, talk about the venue. If you're at a party, compliment the food or the music. It smells amazing in here. Do you know what they're cooking?
Using situational observations takes the pressure off. You don't have to invent a brilliant topic out of thin air. You just comment on whatever is physically in front of both of you.
Okay, so we've covered the greetings, the hooks, the F.O.R.D technique, and environmental observations. But there is one final crucial piece of the small talk puzzle that learners almost always get wrong.
It's the exit strategy. Knowing how to start a conversation is important, but knowing how to politely end it is arguably more important for your social confidence.
So many learners get trapped in awkward conversations because they literally don't know the cultural scripts for walking away. They think they have to keep talking until the other person walks away first.
Or they do the exact opposite, and they just abruptly say goodbye and walk away in the middle of a silence, which comes across as incredibly rude and dismissive. You have to gracefully land the airplane.
The secret to a graceful exit is the pre-closing statement. You have to signal that the conversation is wrapping up before you actually say goodbye. You give the other person a few seconds to adjust to the transition.
And guess what we use to signal that transition? We use our favorite filler word from episode 1. We use the word well.
Yes, you stretch out the word well, usually accompanied by a physical cue like checking your watch, slapping your knees, or taking a slight step back. Well, it was really great catching up with you.
Well, I should probably get back to my desk. Or, well, I'm going to go grab another cup of coffee, but it was great meeting you. The word well acts as the brake pedal. It slows the momentum down safely.
Another fantastic pre-closing phrase is, "I'll let you go." This is brilliant because it frames the exit as a favor you are doing for them. It implies that they are busy and important, and you don't want to monopolize their time.
Anyway, I know you've got a lot on your plate today, so I'll let you get back to it. Have a great weekend. It's polite, it's professional, and it provides a perfectly clean break.
You can also use a future-oriented statement. We should definitely grab lunch sometime soon. Or, I'll see you at the meeting on Thursday. It assures them that the relationship is intact, even though the current conversation is ending.
Let's put all of this together into a rapid-fire demonstration. Anna and I are going to role-play a quick, natural small talk exchange from start to finish. Let's say we're co-workers running into each other in the break room on a Friday afternoon.
Hey, Ben, how's it going?
Hey, Anna. Pretty good. Just trying to survive until 5 o'clock. You know how it is.
Oh, totally. It's been such a long week. Do you have any fun plans for the weekend?
Actually, yeah. I think I'm going to head up into the mountains for a quick hike on Saturday. The weather's supposed to be perfect. What about you?
Oh, that sounds amazing. I'm honestly just planning to relax, maybe catch up on some reading and do a little bit of gardening if the sun stays out.
Nice. That sounds really peaceful. Well, I should probably get back to my desk and finish these reports. Have a great weekend, Anna.
Thanks. You too. Enjoy the hike.
And scene. That entire exchange took maybe 30 seconds, but look at how many mechanics we used. We used the surviving greeting, we used the you know filler phrase, Anna used the recreation hook from the F.O.R.D method.
Ben gave me a detail about his hike and immediately returned the serve by asking what I was doing. I mentioned gardening, and then Ben executed a perfect pre-closing statement using the word well and gave a clear reason for leaving.
It was flawless social ping pong. Nobody panicked, nobody felt interrogated, and we both walked away feeling positive about the interaction. That is the true power of effortless small talk.
It isn't about being the most fascinating person in the room. It's about being the most comfortable person in the room. When you're comfortable, the people around you feel comfortable too.
That brings us to your mission for episode 2. We want you to put the ping pong paddle in your hand and start serving.
Your homework for this week is the Return the Serve Challenge. We want you to actively engage in 3 separate instances of small talk this week. It could be with a coworker, a barista, or a neighbor.
But here is the absolute rule. When they ask you how you are or how your weekend was, you cannot give a one-word answer. You must give a tiny hook, and you must return the serve.
You have to ask a question back. Practice keeping the ball in the air for at least 3 exchanges before you use a pre-closing statement to exit gracefully.
Pay attention to how the other person's body language changes when you return the serve. They will physically relax because you're sharing the conversational load.
After you've completed your 3 interactions, come down into the comments section of this episode. Tell us how it felt. Tell us what your hook was and what question you asked in return.
Did you use the F.O.R.D method? Did you talk about the weather? Did you successfully use the word well to escape an awkward silence? Share your field reports with the community. We love reading about your real-world victories.
You're doing incredible work. You're taking the physical fluency you built in Module 2 and applying it to real human connection. You're building a massive social toolkit.
In our next episode, episode 3, we're going to dive into the nuances of opinions. We're going to talk about agreeing and disagreeing naturally.
We're going to show you how to politely disagree with someone without starting an argument and how to emphatically agree with someone to build deep rapport. It's going to be a crucial lesson for navigating professional environments and making strong friendships.
It's all about keeping the conversational engine running smoothly, even when there's friction on the road. You definitely won't want to miss it.
But for today, focus on the ping-pong match. Give them a hook, return the serve, and never say, "I am fine," again.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Anna.
If you're ready to conquer your fear of small talk, please hit that like button and subscribe. Let's master the art of conversation together.
Until next time, keep practicing, keep listening, and remember, learning English with us is
A piece of cake. Thanks for listening, everyone. See you next time on the English Chatcast.